Burud from Flames Unfiltered here for another Flames Unfiltered Shorts. And we're talking the schedule. Tomorrow's Hockey Day in Canada, Saturday, a full day of hockey, great hockey stories. Just if you're a hockey fan in Canada, this is a perfect day. And what this day does for the Calgary Flames is it kicks off a stretch here now that runs through the month of February that I would consider extremely light on the schedule. The schedule hasn't been too friendly with the Flames over the last 4 to 5 weeks, and it starts to get a little bit easier right now. Now, will that help? Your guess is as good as mine. Hockey Day in Canada kicks off tomorrow. Tampa Bay at Calgary afternoon game. Toronto at Montreal at 5. Winnipeg, Ottawa at 5, and then wrap up the day of festivities from Owen Sound as the Edmonton Oilers play the Vancouver Canucks in the late one on Hockey Night in Canada. So January, what do the Flames have left in January? They've got 3 games, 2 at home, Columbus, Chicago. 2 must-wins at this point, wouldn't you say? And then they wrap up the end of the month with a trip to Seattle. Then the break starts. And there is no games for the Calgary Flames from January 27th to February 6th. 9 complete days off for this team. Do we need it? Probably. I think everybody in Calgary would agree that we probably need it. This break is for the All-Star break and the CBA break, I guess you'd call it. Albeit I think it's crazy. Wouldn't we rather just get rolling again after 3-4 days off and get the season done? But no, that's not how it goes anymore. So how does February go for the Flames? February starts off with a 4-game road trip. The 6th, they're in New York Rangers. 9th, Detroit. 11th, Buffalo. 13th, Ottawa. Well, one of those 3 teams is a playoff team. So we need to make hay on that trip. Home for 3 against Detroit on the 16th. The Rangers on the 18th, and the Flyers on the 20th. Again, 2 of those 3 very, very winnable games. Then they hit the road for 3 more. The 22nd and 23rd, they have a back-to-back. The only back-to-back in February. Arizona on the 22nd, Vegas on the 23rd, and then finish it up with the Avalanche in Colorado on the 25th. Now, this will be the hardest of the road trips, where 2 of the 3 teams are solid. And Arizona, well, we all know that. They end the month with Boston at home on the 28th. Obviously, a very tough test there. But when you look at it, a lot of these teams are points that you can say we have to have. But unfortunately, when you look at our previous games and our previous schedule, there's been a lot of games that have slipped by. I can remember a Columbus one we let slide by. I believe there was a Buffalo one that we let slide by with no points on either of those. And I'm probably missing many more games where when you look at the opponent, you think probably should take 2 of this one. And that's been one of the difficult parts with the Flames this year, is not taking advantage of those moments when you really should be getting the 2 points. And I don't want to say it should be an easy game, and you may not get every one of those against a weaker opponent. But boy, those are the ones that good teams really take care of. I also look at this break coming up. 9 days, that's a long time. Players are going to be going on vacation, spending time with family, and doing other things. You've got to go into that with the right frame of mind. And I know the Flames currently on this Friday night sit in a playoff spot, but only because of points and more games played, not because of winning percentage. And those catch up with you, and those haunt you. This team's got to put themselves in a little bit better position with these final 3 games. Make sure they're in a playoff spot at the break, and have played some good hockey in these final 3 to go into the break in a positive mindset. A lot of sports are mental, and I mean, when you go into a 9-day break, it's good to go in on a high note. If this team drops 2 or 3 and struggles to score or continue, yeah, it's not going to be a very a fun time to go into break. And when you're fighting with teams like St. Louis, Minnesota, Nashville for points every single night, you're trying to catch up. And this is the bright spot of this. You're trying to catch up to Edmonton, who's now found their game and is moving past us. Calgary needs to do that. We need to find our game. The Pacific's now out of reach. Vegas and Seattle lead the division with 58 points. LA just 2 back at 56. Calgary sits at 51. For how poorly we've perceived the play, a lot of points we've nabbed. And we're 5 back of third and 7 back of first. Is it realistic? We have to play a whole hell of a lot better than we're playing. But it's within reach. It is within reach. We have 11 games in 28 days in the month of February, with 9 straight days off. That is a way easier and lighter schedule than the Flames have been faced with through this whole season. And of those 11 games we see in February, only 4 of them are against playoff teams right now. It's time to make hay. It's time to get points. It's time to get this thing going. Enjoy Hockey Day in Canada as Calgary hosts Tampa Bay. It's always a fun day, one of my favorite days of the year. We're back. Kyle's back with me next Wednesday night. We will have a show. Tuesday night, actually. We're doing the show this week, so a Wednesday release. Lots to talk about. The return of Johnny Gaudreau, all kinds of great things to talk about. How we're looking headed into this break, we'll talk about that. And anything else that comes up over the next 2 games. Thanks for joining us for another edition of Flames Unfiltered Shorts. Check out the podcasts on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all over the place. You can watch this show on YouTube. Check out Inside Edge Hockey Media Group. That's where everything's at. And, of course, you can always find everything at flamesunfiltered.com. Enjoy the hockey action this weekend as we got Tampa Bay on Saturday, Columbus on Monday. 2 very, very important games. And enjoy your Hockey Day in Canada.